Good evening, everyone in SBC, SBCC land, and all points in between. Welcome to this week's edition of Tuesday Talk, and this is a special edition. This is the Brothers Panel, and again, this is the Brothers Panel, and we thank you for joining us. And this is your host, Mike Walker, and we have our panelists, BL Foils, Reginald Balders, Stephen Thomas, and we also have Nick Conley. He disappeared, but he's coming back. So we're just glad to have you here. We're going to discuss issues and things, and hopefully we won't get ran out of town tonight. So let's keep it civil and everything. We're glad to have you brothers here. Glad to have y'all here tonight. So our first topic, and it was suggested by our own BL Foils. So he's probably going to get us in trouble tonight. I don't know, but we'll see though. And it's a it's a good one though. And I'll read it. Is infidelity a problem or a symptom? Is infidelity a problem or a symptom? And since Brother BL, you asked that question, we'll start off with you. What's your take on that?
I take that it's a symptom. It's an indicator that there's some problem going on. And the reason I presented the question is because many times, years ago, I used to do some Christian counseling. I had couples, and a few times there was some infidelity was an issue. And I noticed that there was other issues going on. And though the infidelity caused the problem, it was not the problem. And so trying to get them to see it beyond the problem, sometimes that caused the problem. Um, and so the problem sometimes is individual within the individual, and sometimes it's within the relationship. And so most times people look at or they demonize the perpetrator of the infidelity and never really looking at the other parties or looking at what influenced that behavior. Because behavior just doesn't happen independent, it happens in response to something. So that was kind of the reason for it.
Okay. Uh Brother Steve.
Well, I have a different view,
Okay.
brother, because I think that infidelity is a problem, and there are other issues because a symptom is an indicator that there is a problem, right? And if we have issues within our relationship, then sometimes, not all times, it leads to infidelity, which creates turmoil. So I say it's the problem, the main problem, and other stuff like lack of communication. Um, the communication level decreases because of mm, you know just maybe an argument over finances. Um, then we have disrespect. Maybe the female starts disrespecting the man, and You know, for some reason, let me go personal. Let
Mhm.
me go personal. My personal experience. When I realized that my ex-wife was cheating,
Mhm.
um, she had begun to disrespect me like often. I would get home from work and it would be some argument out of nowhere. And then married people, there is a lack of sex. You can't touch her anymore. You can't do this anymore. You're not getting any kisses anymore. I remember I remember it was my birthday and I said, you know what, I'm gonna take you and the kids to the movies. And she was like, I really don't want to go anywhere with you. I really don't want you to think that we're all mushy and I can't be mushy with you anymore. I'm like, what? And then I wanted sex the night after movie and I wanted to have sex and she was like, you know, um, hurry up and do what you're doing, get out of me.
Mm.
I was like, really? She was like, yes, hurry up and do what you're doing, get out of me. And you know, I knew then that it was it went way too far and I tried and I couldn't even see anything through her eyes. She was so deep into whatever she was doing, you know. And then, you know, I had so much trouble and trying to reach out to her, but because she was already doing what she was doing, infidelity, she started cheating. So all of these other problems, symptoms, they started popping up because of her cheating. So I think it is a problem, the not the symptom. Symptoms are things that lead you to realize this is happening.
Mm.
So
Mm.
that's my take.
Okay. Um, Pastor Reginald, what say you?
Well, infidelity can come as a result of money, but you really have to understand what caused the infidelity in the first place. Was it because of sexual reasons? One partner was not being satisfied by the other. Uh, was it money that one partner? Because oftentimes what's happening in the bedroom leaves outside the bedroom, and so the sex can be so-so, but if outside the bedroom is a total chaos, then eventually, you meet some sister at work, and y'all work on a project, and she see you down, and words are exchanged, and next thing you know, you spend a little more quality time with that coworker than you should be spending with, and things could happen. And it's not necessarily that you don't quote unquote love your spouse. It's just that you have found something in that other person that your spouse wasn't either willing to fulfill or could fulfill. And that's what leads to a lot of infidelity, because there's problems going on in the marriage, whether it be financial, whether she feels that you're not paying her enough attention. In the movie The Preacher's Wife, which is one of my favorite movies, uh, Dudley, the angel that was sent by God to help out Pastor Briggs, uh, Whitney Houston, his wife, in the movie, was feeling as though she was losing her husband. That her husband, was so involved with the church, and he didn't have time for his family, and she started feeling neglected. And so, midway through the movie, Dudley the angel is asked by the pastor to take his wife out on the town. Well, they went to this jazz club, and words were exchanged, and she kind of, she kept herself in check as a married woman, but that situation could have led to infidelity, because now Dudley is spending time with her, just something she craved from her husband that her husband wasn't willing to give. And so that's where lack of communication comes into play. You should be able to know your spouse well enough to know when they're holding back. You should know your spouse well enough where if you guys were having a sexual relation 4 or 5 times a week, and now it's only once, once a month, that's a problem. Now, if it's medical reasons, that's a different ball game. But if both of you are healthy, then 9 times out of 10, somebody is getting satisfied somewhere else. That's my take.
And let me ask this quick question. Can someone be emotionally cheating emotionally, if that makes sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because
that's where social media comes into play.
Go ahead.
When you talking to this individual online a lot, and y'all texting back and forth, and you claim it's not quote unquote cheating, and you're trying to keep the conversation non-sexual, but you're starting to make an emotional attachment to the individual, which could lead to other things. So social media has played a big part in infidelity.
Yes. Nick.
Yes.
Is infidelity a problem or a symptom?
It's both. To me, I mean, I say it's a symptom because there's something else going on beforehand that leads to that. It's a problem because it's not the right solution. I mean, you like I said, you have this. It's like how do I say it? I'm trying to say it nicely. They say you have cancer, and you have all the symptoms of cancer and all that, and when you decide that you want to just take herbs, I'm just gonna take some herbs. I'm not gonna do any kind of chemo. I'm not gonna listen to what the doctors are telling me. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And you haven't found technically the right solution, and then you're getting sicker, and you don't really understand why. You won't face why, but you haven't really treated the problem. The problem with infidelity is you have an issue in your marriage or your relationship that you guys haven't really come to terms with, haven't talked to each other about. And the solution becoming infidelity, no, that's not the solution. That's another problem because you compounded it.
But now here's a question when it comes to infidelity. Why go out and cheat and still remain in your main relationship or your main marriage or what have you? Why do that? And I've been on both sides of that. Go ahead, Brother VL. Wait a minute. Let me unmute you. Go ahead.
I think when people do it, I think they still care for their spouse, because if they didn't care for the spouse, they will pull out of it altogether. They still have some level of investment there, but they also have sometimes, like something Reggie was saying, is that sometimes people have needs, and whether the needs be emotional, physical, psychological, there's a need that's not being met sometimes. And they may not realize what's going on inside of them. They may be driven, or their emotions may become maybe the untamed stallion. And so they're going to get gratified and not realizing that, because that other person or that other thing is meeting, is comforting them, and so they feel like it's wrong, but I'm getting comforted. And so, not that it's right, but I think that happens a lot of time because people keep going back
Right.
and they hiding to do it. So if they're hiding to do it, that means you know that it's not fully right, and you're trying to conceal it from the other person because you value home your spouse, you value them. Now, how much they value, the other argument somebody may have is, well, you don't value that much that you go off and you do wrong. But I think what happens is when people are being neglected, there's a level of trauma that's there, not giving excuses, but there's a level of trauma there. And if you're being neglected of something and for a prolonged period of time, you're neglected of something, neglect occurs because in the absence of a needs. And so if needs are void for a long period of time, people are not thinking straight.
Right.
Not that I give them the excuse, but they're not thinking straight fully with a full deck.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes them more vulnerable for stuff.
Okay. Bruh Steve.
Unmute.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Um, why do people stay while cheating? Um, honestly, I think it is spiritually. It's a spiritual thing, and these demons, they, Satan counterfeits everything that God created, everything that God instituted. So, um, you're in the right thing, your marriage or your relationship, whatever, and here comes these demons that attract you, because the devil knows exactly what we're about. So he attacks us in these areas. Now, I'm saying in my situation, right? I can only refer to that one because um this guy, he was an assistant pastor, and he had problems at home. He had a lot of problems at home. And my ex-wife would sit down and listen to him and whatever, whatever. They worked together, so they had time to spend with each other. And one of her friends, told me, "Listen, he attacked her, and when he attacked her, you know, she was open to him and whatever, whatever. They had sex, and it was like he he was after her like a leech. He was on her like a leech, and you see, whatever, she's a materialistic person. So he would offer her stuff. He would give her gifts. He would. So it's like a connection there. Whatever she wanted, he was willing to give it at whatever cost, and she would give him in return. And she was telling her friend, "Listen, I need help because I want to get out of this. My husband is a good man and whatever." And I was telling her friend, "Listen, if I was so much of a good man, why didn't she communicate with me? Let me know that this was happening or whatever the case is." I only knew this after so long, after it went so deep. And I'm saying she wanted to stay, but she wanted to go because it was embarrassing. It was an embarrassing situation. We were all in the church, and hiding. They couldn't have been hiding for too much longer. So you know, um, these things are spiritually connected. So it's we have to be strong in the spirit, right? We have to be strong in the spirit because when Satan and his demons attack us, trust me, they know what they're about in the spirit realm. That's why the Bible admonishes us to walk in the spirit because we gotta understand when Satan comes at us, he's coming at us because he sees where we are in the spirit, what we like, what we don't like, what we love, and what we don't love. So staying is because we know we're doing the right thing, staying, but then sin is sweet. Trust me. The other day, I was having a conversation with some young guys, and um, they were saying that the best sex is when you're doing it knowing that you're not supposed to do it. When you're hiding, that's the best time. I was like, whoa. So a lot of us we get that adrenaline when we're doing something wrong. So that's why we do it because it's an adrenaline thing. We get that adrenaline rush. So that's why people stay because we're doing the right thing. But then the adrenaline rush that we get doing the wrong thing is why we do it.
Okay. But now we have a dissenting opinion from our audience. Keena says it's not always Satan. We have free will, which is volition. We choose to be faithful or unfaithful. What say you?
She's right.
She's right.
She's right. A lot of times we blame Satan. We say it's sin, but furthermore, the points. A lot of people do it because it's the have your cake, eat it too mentality. I know a guy. Well, I know of a guy. He was married. Oh, he is married. Excuse me. I'm sorry. He's married, and he cheated on his wife this year. And his wife found out about it because the woman that he cheated with was also married and got mad when he broke it off with the woman and told his wife. And his wife asked him, why? Why would you even do this? His answer was he was playing around and decided to start a Tinder account with his buddies, and it's just stupid. And that ain't got to do with Satan. That's just flesh being dumb.
Yep.
And now you done found yourself in a situation, and he spent months and probably still doing it, trying to come back into those trusting good graces of his wife. And that's all because like Steve was saying, that sin was so sweet to him, he just wanted to see if he could get away with it. And it's not worth it. And that's really what you have to understand in your own flesh, that okay, this person looks nice, this person's coming on to me or whatever, but I've got something better at home, as the song said. I'm good. And once you've decided that and stood firm in that, you won't put yourself in situations where your flesh can be so easily tempted. But a lot of people, period, think, okay, well, I think I might be able to get away with this. So they do it. And they may do it, I'm not going to lie, they may do it by mistake. They may end up in some place where they just are not supposed to be, around somebody they're not supposed to be around, hanging around too long with people they're not supposed to be around. And then you end up in this bad situation. Because you think about it, I'm not trying to be funny, but you think about it, Eve would have never bitten the fruit if she hadn't just been standing there hanging around the snake. The snake had started talking and said, oh, this, God don't know what he's talking about. You can eat this fruit. If she'd have just cut the conversation off then and moved on, nothing would have happened. We'd been eating right now. But hanging around the wrong people, listening to them and those spirits too long, you make bad choices. You can't play with the fire for so long.
Absolutely. Now, listen to what Keena says. Emotional cheating is real with these work husbands / work wives, all these different sex friends. When you tell secrets to that friend that you don't tell your partner, is opening the door. You must have relational intelligence. No person, man or woman, should wonder where they stand with their partner. Okay? What is relational intelligence?
Hmm.
Or better yet, is there such thing as relational intelligence? As opposed to say common sense or spiritual sense or spiritual common sense.
That's what I would take it as common sense and spiritual common sense, and knowing your partner and knowing yourself, knowing what you can handle, what you can't handle, your triggers. You're not going to know all of that, but you should know enough of it not to end up in certain situations. You should know enough of it not to be playing, like I said, with that fire. You know, when you're talking to your spouse, you know how their moods trigger. You're talking to your mate, you know how their mood triggers. They may get quiet at certain points and they may be angry and not say anything. Whenever they act a certain way, that means a certain thing. And they should know that about you. And if you don't know that about each other, and then you're talking about, not to be funny, you're talking about getting married, or you are married, then you're headed for trouble because you really don't know each other's moods and segues and stuff. You're just kind of guessing. So you're waiting for somebody to literally tell you something whenever they may be showing you in their own way.
I get you. Anyone else want to tackle that?
I kind of believe, I'll add it this way. I believe if you have a problem with fornication, you're more likely to have a problem in adultery. If you don't learn how to tame your flesh and your emotions before marriage, it's now going to be no different during the course of marriage. And so I think that you have to have some level of insight to knowing you knowing in that emotional or that relational intelligence, you have knowledge of yourself, you have knowledge of your partner, and in the case of in the religious community, you have knowledge of God. And so, like in the instance of Joseph, he said when Potiphar's wife was approaching him, he said, I can't sin against God because he had a relationship with God. He may have had a relationship with her, he had a relationship with God. He also knew himself. So at some point, you got to know when it's time to flee something. You got to know what's going on. And almost like what Nick said, we're drawn away sometimes by our own youthful lust. It ain't Satan, it's situations that we got to take ownership and begin to look at. It's stuff within us. And we got to learn how to discipline our flesh. That's where fasting is important. That's where prayer is important. And it's knowing having boundaries and having people that we can be accountable to.
Right.
So I think it's important, you know, get in that flesh under subjection. Because there are going to come times in the marriage life where the partner, you may not be getting what's due to you for whatever reason. But if you have a history of abstinence, you should know how to handle it. Now, granted, it shouldn't go on for a long period of time, but it gives you at least some basis of a foundation to be able to navigate through that because you know how to cope.
Right.
So that's what I think.
Mm-hmm. And go ahead. Go ahead.
I often, if a sister comes and needs counseling, I always have someone else either in the room or within earshot. You know, all folks in the church ain't saved, and sometimes they'll use that opportunity to try to influence or quote unquote trap you in the situations that can cause some very unpleasant results. And so you know, women can be treacherous, and you have to be able to be on your own guard at all times, whether whether it's ministry, whether it's on the job. If you're in a marriage, then you have to be aware if a sister is coming up to you a lot and trying to holler at you a lot. Okay, and it's not job related all the time. That's a clear cut sign. But sometimes we like that attention that we're getting. Not that we're trying to cheat or anything, but like I said, one thing can lead to another. So don't put yourself in a situation where something like that can happen.
Absolutely. Yep. And let me see what Sister Leslie says. Relationship intelligence is knowing the role you play in the lives of others and the role they play in theirs. It's no different that they have an inner circle of friends and others who are just acquaintances. And here's an interesting take from I think Renee. As a female pastor, I've experienced the same with some male parishioners. Interesting. Yeah. And let me ask you this, brothers, especially those who are active in the church. Were there sisters in the church that all of a sudden were more attracted to you once you got into a power of position?
Musicians are attacked.
Really?
Yeah. And being a preacher's kid and preaching sometimes, counseling sometimes. I don't know what the motive is, but I think it has to do with maybe being famous. Hey, I'm the wife of the pastor's kid. I don't know if it's, or I'm the drummer's girlfriend, or I'm the drummer's wife. I don't know if if it has to do with a little bit of fame, but musicians are attacked. I can say this here in Antigua, musicians are attacked. And when it comes to counseling 101, Christian counseling 101, do not get emotionally attached to your counselee. Christian counseling 101. When you see things going a little bit south, okay, this is where I can't manage this anymore. I would have to refer you to somebody else. Yeah. Christian counseling 101. And I've seen it a lot. I've had a lot of married women come to me. Oh, my husband and this, and he's starting to get abusive, and he's this and he's that. Well, listen, I can't really comfort you because I am divorced, and you may begin to cry and I may begin to feel a certain way, and before things get where we really don't want it to go, I have to refer you to somebody else. Thank you. This is honestly the best I can do.
And sometimes they're not attracted to the person, they're attracted to the anointing or the gift that person possesses.
Yep.
It was
But
one thing.
I think also,
Go ahead.
I think also you have to, as the individual, you gotta know yourself and know what's going on inside of you. One of the things that they teach people with counseling or therapists is know yourself, know where you're at all points. And so that if you know where you're at, then hopefully you'll better be able to navigate or prevent certain things from happening, crossing the lines or different things when you lose your objectivity. I remember on the job, I had a coworker who she was married. Um, and I remember whenever I would go to her cubicle, she would always be fixing the sisters, her breasts. And usually I'm standing up and I'm coming to her desk. And, after about 3 times, I notice this is happening. I'm like, hold up. You can't be saying to myself, you can't be fixing your breast 3 times coincidentally. And so I remember I discussed it with one of my buddies, and you know, I stopped going to her desk. I wouldn't do anything that would feed into anything because I remember she used to be like, "Oh, well, where do you go work out at?" And different other feelers. And I knew there was some marital issues going on. I was not going to get caught into that foolishness out of respect for myself, out of respect for God, and out of respect for her. And so I always have that person at arm's length. It doesn't trigger nothing in me. I don't want to be caught into something to just, to get my name associated with any type of the foolishness.
To another topic. Okay. And I believe all of us are in both groups, SBC and SBCC, if I'm not mistaken, unless I missed a memo or something. And one of the most common questions that is brought up or asked by the sisters is, where are all the good black men? Yeah. And for the better part of 13 years of running both groups, that's a common question. So, brothers, I ask you this: where are all the good black men?
I can't answer for all, but I am here.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Or are they looking hard enough?
No, no, no. I can say this because I'm not asking where the good women at because um, if I was really well, I've seen some good women in the group, yes. Just it's just a matter of time, I should say. But I see some real quality women in our group,
Mm-hmm.
and I know some of them are listening right now.
Oh yeah, check this out. Yeah, they are listening. Okay.
That's one right there. That's one right there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Okay.
quality.
My question back to them would be, are you truly looking?
Mm.
And
Say that one more time. Please
are
say
you
that one
truly
more.
looking? Because
A little
if
louder for those in
you
the back.
look for something, you can find what you're looking for. So to sit back and complain ain't no good man, maybe you can say that because you haven't taken the time enough to even search.
Well, Reggie, I think what it is, in my opinion, I think they're rating us on the standards of the men who are not saved. And so
Hmm.
they've been accustomed to men chasing them for lust and not loving them, you know what I mean, in an agape love. So they're not accustomed to that. They're looking for the man who they, you got to be, we can admire, certain attributes, physical attributes that they may have, but they may be accustomed to the man who was saying what he'll do with those different attributes that she's been blessed and endowed with. We may not be doing that, but they've been conditioned to get that type of reinforcement or that type of praise or that type of acknowledgement that we may not be giving them, but because they've had years, more years not walking with Christ than walking with Christ, they're more accustomed to that. So, or the fact that we're stating things like we practice abstinence, you know, um, they may not be accustomed to that.
Mm.
Well, I, I think good is subjective. It's just a subjective term. It depends on who is looking and what they're looking at. For example, a person, I'm not trying to be funny. A person without a job can find a job at McDonald's and think that's good. Another person might say that's bad. You need a six-figure salary. Some person might look at they might look at a man who prays every day and say that's good. And then some people may say that's excessive. Good is subjective. It's just a matter of the eye. We have all these posts where people's good, their barometer for good, it changes with the person. There is no particular consensus on what good is. So when women, to me, when women say they're looking for, women say there are no good men, part of me does, I'm not going to lie, feels like they're not really paying attention. And then the other part of me feels like it's subjective. So if you're not giving that brother a chance, then he can't prove he's good. Because you didn't cut him off for whatever reason. You've overlooked him because he's not making the amount of money you wanted to make, or he might make it too much money, or he might not even be paying you any attention. You see what I'm saying? So it's all, like I said, subjective. And I always tell people, I've dated and I don't have any problems with any of my exes and feel like they were bad women or anything like that, because I learned something from all of them. But I've noticed that a lot of women feel the opposite. They feel like each one of their exes was a waste of time, and that they were they wouldn't help them if they was on fire and all this crazy stuff, because it's all subjective. People have different viewpoints on their experiences and who they meet. So like I said, to say is where are all the good men? To me, and then to me, then you don't have that mustard seed of faith, because you're supposed to have that faith that your good man is out there. So instead of asking us where are the good men at, you need to be asking God, where is my husband at?
That's a very good point you made there, brother Nick. Because what I realize is a lot of women, well, the younger women, let's say between 20, 35, 40, they look for outward appearance, and they look for what social media can accept for them. And after age 35, 40, that's when they realize, hey, my life shouldn't be all about social media or society or whatever. I'm supposed to be living a life with a real man. And that's after they've been abused, they've been through hell and back. And then we, the men, we're looking at, I'm looking for a wife. And we look at these women who have 3 kids, 3 baby daddies, you know, um, a world of debt, and, so many other problems. And they're the same ones asking where the real men at, because we're looking for something different, man. Not to have 3 baby daddies coming at us because you're there. And
But wait, I'm gonna cut you off. I don't want you to make it sound like these women with,
No.
multiple.
It's not all a problem. I'm just
You know what I'm
I'm
saying?
just saying.
Like that makes them bad or something. That, you know, you're not no. You got they'll be younger than me. I don't have that kind of time. Those the wonderful young ladies who have found God and they found Christ and they living their lives. You not put me in there, Steve. I love you, but no, no. I ain't got
No,
that kind.
I'm just saying, and the
Uh-huh.
younger ones, they mess themselves up because they're looking at, they want this muscular guy, who probably drives a Ferrari or whatever the case is, and just so that their friends can accept them, social media can accept them, and they mess themselves up and then come looking for the good guys.
I think some women do that. I think some women do it and some women don't. Like you said, you have some women who are looking for more superficial things, and then as they get older, those superficial things start to break down because they realize those superficial things aren't as important. And then you got some women who aren't looking for superficial things, and they just meet the people that don't work for them. And not to be funny, it's so many people in this world, and you're looking for that one person for you. So it's technically the probabilities are against you, but because God before you, you're gonna conquer it. But you have to realize that one person, that they're coming, and you have to be able to be patient on that. I think that's hard for a lot of us, to wait for that person, to work for that person, to have faith that that person is coming. Because sometimes, you're sitting here and you're in your house and you're alone and you're like, well, where is my help me at? Because this is quiet up in here. But it's what God has for you right now. And you have to learn how to live in that season while you work. I always feel like, if you're doing your ministry and doing your thing, what God told you to do, that person will show up in the middle. Whether not to be funny. Yeah. Not whether that person stays or goes, that's a different story. But the person that's there to help you at that time, wherever you're at, they will show up. When you out there doing your ministry work, you're out there doing what God told you to do, help always comes.
Yep.
And you're not even thinking about it then.
Right. You're not even thinking about it. You focus on something else.
And then boom.
Yep, boom.
But going to something Reggie said, Reggie, you said something earlier that I think is significant. Sometimes people are attracted to us because of the call of God and the anointing that's on our life. So they find, or the character traits that we exhibit, they find us attractive. We may not find them attractive. And knowing that's okay. For us, that may be okay, but for them, it may not be okay receiving the fact that we're not interested in them because of the call that's on our life. And I know I've had that numerous times where I think that they would be attracted to the anointing. And it's like, okay, but you don't know the person and you don't know whether or not if I really want to be with you. And just having that kind of conversation. There's a thing that I've seen people do. They will be second to none and never to one. So they like you. They want to be with you. They find out you're not interested in them. So then they'll be your friend, be second spot. But when someone comes along that you're interested in, then they may come with, at least I've had several times where they came with an ultimatum. And when the ultimatum came, they didn't like the fact that, there was a disengagement that happened in that relationship with them because I realized they were being second to none, but they was never going to be number one.
Yeah.
And that's a bad feeling right there. Trust me. Listen to what Tawanda has to say. It's almost like almost like a challenge. Maybe if a brother inbox a sister, they will know for sure if in fact both are mutual for each other. The problem is, though, that most times our inbox are not answered. Or is it just me? Or maybe I'm missing
Most times, like I've inboxed the sister and it took like 5 weeks before I got a response. I was like, really? I don't remember what I said to you first, so let's start over again. But a lot of times, our I think our messages go to a separate part of the inbox. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yes.
So a lot of sisters don't answer.
Mm. Yep.
Then you have a section of women who quote unquote claim they want a good brother, but then when they get that good brother, they dog him out
Mm-mm.
because they're so used to having a thug boy, and
Yep.
that's what they really want. But they claim they want a good guy, uh, and they start complaining. Well, he's home all the time. He's always doing this. He's always doing that. Okay, well, that's what a good man does, take care of the home. But you said you wanted a good man, but you have a good man, but do you really want a good man? No. That's just a facade. That's what society says for you to do. But all women who say they want a good man really don't want one.
Mm.
Well, everybody that says they want a relationship don't want a relationship. That's really what that goes back to.
That's true.
You know, people say you want a
Or,
relationship.
or
I want to be with somebody. I want a wife, but then you don't want to. You know, you say as a husband, you say as a man, I want a wife, but then you don't want to do husbandly duties. You don't want to take care of her. You don't want to make sure she's straight. You don't care what she's doing. You just like as long as she's here, cooking my sandwich, making my sandwich, I'm good. You know, that's not that ain't gonna work. I'm not saying you doing that. I'm saying that's what a lot of brothers do, a lot of men do. And then on this other side, you got a lot of women who say, I want a good man, I want this, and then he shows up and you say, like he's talking about, well, he home all the time. Well, you know, he don't never do this, he don't never do that. You know, he don't be out with doing this. You're looking for the wrong thing because you're trying to change him into something he never was.
Mm-hmm.
There are
He's
some
but I
of us
good,
think,
but he's not. But
but I
that's what I'm
think
saying. Good
is
is
that,
subjective. Because he's good, but he's not good enough for you.
Mm-mm.
but
no,
I
but
think
you
sometimes
see, some
I
of
remember
us,
when I first got saved years ago. When I first got saved, I was dating this girl, and we dated before I got saved. And I remember after getting saved, now before I got saved, we engaged in premarital sex. Now after I got saved, I had enough common sense to know that was wrong. So she would try, and she was in the church, and she professed salvation. And so once I got saved, I'm like, nah, we're not doing that. And it was a challenge for her because, our history was, we got
Right.
business. Um, I thank God having had that experience when I first got saved because my decision was Jesus. And my decision 30 some years later is still Jesus. And, but she was, she wanted what she wanted. And I remember talking about him like, nah, I'm saved now. Now, what we did before I got saved is a different story, which you allow, but I'm not gonna play like I don't know no better. I do know better. And what I've done in all my relationships is I let them know up front boundaries. And so it was helpful. Most women have respected. I think some found it challenging, and I think some have tried to test the waters. Um, but I think we as godly men representing God, we have the opportunity to show them something different. I think all of them, most of my exes, I still have a good relationship with today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have respectable There's only one that I refuse to give access to me because I think, you know, I feel like she a little cray cray, and she
Right.
think, you know, want to kind of. But other than that, you know, all of them, I still have a good relationship. We periodically communicate, you know, maybe once a year or so, like that. Hey, how you doing? Because there's a respect that still exists,
Hmm.
you know.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Steve, you had something to say.
I was saying that in respect to some of us, we have some brothers who really damage the good sisters.
Mm.
I know, I know of a guy, and he would damage these sisters. He would lead them, I would say, lead them to marriage. I know this. This girl, she purchased, everything, dress, flowers. She she had her whole bridal party well set, and this guy knew that he wasn't gonna get married to her, and everybody was doing their thing, getting ready for the wedding, and he was like, okay. She was sending out invitations, and he had his pile of invitations with him in his vehicle doing nothing. And wow, wedding day came and it was chaos.
Hmm.
And he knew he wasn't going to get married to her. And he just led her. He was a father to her kids. He was, he was there for her throughout the entire relationship. He was that man that she wanted. And that's why some women, they're so afraid because, these brothers who pretend, they damage the woman, and they're afraid to at least trust somebody who seems to be good. So some of us, we have some brothers who damage, but we have some sisters who damage too. Like an evangelist was preaching a couple of weeks ago, and she was saying, some women have the Jezebel spirit. They come into the church, and they want to take the men who have position, and they just lead them to a place where they can no longer help themselves. So it happens both ways. We have to give space for each other. We have to look and see, hey, listen, I'm gonna give sister so and so a chance. Let's see where this goes. But it's it's a it's a
Mm.
challenging situation, man. It's a challenging situation.
Yeah, I understand that. Now, Keena has a statement, and here it goes. Some men want an Instagram model, but it's like that in both sides. My question is, what is an Instagram model? Well, what qualifies a person, in this case, a woman, as an Instagram model? I mean, I know at what point where she's pointing to, but I say it like this: do we five brothers, and I'm asking myself that as well, desire an Instagram model?
Define Instagram model.
Mm,
Is she define it as like a brick house?
most Instagram models I've seen, what is it? Maybe half of them are working with implants. Okay, that's what I see, and the other half have unusual measurements and proportions.
Hmm.
So I don't know. I can speak for myself. I don't desire an Instagram model,
No.
but I still like what I like too. Now, let's be real and let's be honest. Go ahead. Anyone else?
I'll jump in. I'm the same way. I mean, if you're regenerated, you're real. Because sometimes what I see on Instagram is not really real. So if when the morning come, the person I saw at night is the same person I see in the morning, then I'm more likely to be attracted to her. But I'm also attracted to the woman who is going to be a helpmate or a legacy builder towards my future and help accomplish those things that God has set for me. That if they can't accomplish those things, I'm not going to waste my time, my investments, whether it be time, whether it be emotions and stuff like that. There has to be some compatibility, and we have to be going in the same direction. Now, if she happened to be an Instagram model and she's real, so be it. I'm fine with it.
No, I don't need an Instagram model now. I don't want one because I love to be real, right? I I said in one of the posts recently that I don't want to go out and I give a hug and my white linen is all messed up because all of the makeup and all of this and that. I gotta throw that shirt away now. But that was just a joke, really. But I don't want you to leave your face on my shirt. Come on, you know. And then we can't do certain things because your body is not made up for that. You modified this and no. Mm-mm. I have my preferences. Yes, I do have preferences. But you know, whatever God sends, He knows what I want. The Lord is my shepherd. He knows what I want. So He would definitely, you know. One sister said to me, "I'm not only face. I have a body." I'm like, it's all good. It's all good. So you know, I don't know. I don't know. They're men on steroids too, so these women gotta look out.
Hey, that's true. That is so. Like I said, I don't know. I have my preference, but I not a Instagram model.
Mm-mm.
That's not my speed.
Now,
Okay.
I I'm sorry. I just want to say this real quick, and I hate to be the advocate, but I don't. I'm not saying I want or desire Instagram model because I don't have any desire for women who feel like they need to get their validation from media. But some of the women are real women too, and they have their own things going on. Um, that said, like I said, the Instagram model is, they're beautiful women, but there are beautiful women in this group. There are beautiful women walking around the street that ain't got nothing to do with Instagram. I can't lie that I'm not an interested party in beautiful women, but whether she has to be on Instagram searching for likes, no.
No, no, no. And Keena, when was the last time we any of us saw Buffy the Body? We talking about almost 20 years ago. I almost forgot all about her though. Oh yeah. Anyway.
Eye candy is nice to look at, but there is a saying, all that glitters ain't gold.
Say that. Say that. Absolutely. like Steve says, I don't want to hug you. And, you know, your face is right there, you know. So, yeah, that's not,
Messing
no,
my designer suits.
no. Yeah, that's not absolutely. Yeah, and them suits cost. I know. Yeah, they're not cheap either. Yeah.
But
Y'all gonna,
she hugging
you know,
you
y'all
get
gonna need
all mad looking
security.
like
Y'all
she
gonna need
messed up my
security
suit.
now. Y'all gonna need security talking about the makeup now.
And nothing's wrong with makeup, but if it's at the point you look like a different person, you know, you wake up like, oh, wait, who are you? You know, or something like that. Like we like to joke, hey, take them swimming or something like that. You know, and see how that works out. You know, hey,
Women don't get out the bed looking like those on the daytime soap opera. They all dolled up, hair all fixed up, makeup on. That's not reality. That doesn't happen in real life. You turn over and you look like maybe like who did it done it what for? You know, you have to understand. You have to take the person as they are, not just when they all dolled up.
Well, I think the challenge comes in today is that, at least from what I hear from women, is that they felt as though we put the pressure on them because we have put so much emphasis on the external and that we're so vision driven that they have now come to the point they're trying to give us what they think we want. And there's some of us that are drawn to those things. There's some of us that appear on this panel that we're not inclined to want that. And so they don't know what to kind of do, because it's been so much emphasis, especially in the Western culture, on appearance. It's like I remember this is one thing that you hear women wearing black because black's supposed to make you smaller, you know. But I got black on black ain't gonna change, make me no smaller. It's just different color. But then I'd rather see the woman in a light color than to see her in black because that stands out to me versus black. But the pressure that's been on them is that they're trying to conform or they're competing with so many other women that they're trying to get our attention. And my thing is, be yourself. You're going to stand out being yourself
Exactly.
than trying to be something else. But
Yep.
it's easy said and done on our end because we're the ones that have a level of power, that male privilege.
Well, I believe there's a proper time and a place for everything. There's a proper time for you to be dialed up, and there's a proper time for you to be who you are. And so, if I'm going out on a time with my woman, I expect her to be dialed up. When we're at home kicking it and laying on the couch watching TV, I'm not expecting her to be all that. I mean, we're at home, you know. So there's a proper time and a proper place for everything.
That's the bottom line right there. And on that note, I have to announce that we are out of time. We are out of time. It's been an honor and a privilege to be with you, brothers. And we definitely will have to do this again. Definitely appreciate your take and your input. Immediately following, we will have the after party on Zoom. I will post a link later. And this Saturday, we will have our fourth episode of Making the Connection. Looking forward to, hopefully y'all be there. And of course, next Tuesday, we will have another episode of Tuesday Talk. So just make sure you tune in, okay? And again, thank you, brothers. Thank you, VL, Steve, Reginald, and Nick. Thank you all for your presence, your participations, and your points. And to the SBC, SBCC family, thank you for tuning in and watching. Thank you all so much. So from us to you, we see y'all later, okay? Bye-bye.
All right.
Let's take some time and think for a minute. What's going on? And are we with it? I just a phone call away, but if no one calls, it's another day. How can I explain to you what I feel?